Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's the bottom line. That's right. Live from Studio 02, brought to you by Chances Used Auto Parts. We're going to give you the dirty lowdown from this past weekend race recap. Tell you what's coming up ahead. Float you a little what's in the news. That's right. We appreciate you joining in. I got to get tongue-tied here ahead of myself. Man, oh day. Once again, I'm Tommy Cordell from Elbows Up Dirt Productions. We're going to go back here and get started. We got a good bit of stuff to go over. Get moving. We good up there, Fred?
We're good so far, yeah.
Freddie says we're good. We're good. Okay, welcome, my friends. First and foremost, we want to rest in peace. God bless these individuals, their families, and supporters, friends. Obviously, Tyler Ritchie was sent to heaven. That's correct. Sent to heaven, and it's in the good Lord's hands now. And I know that services were the end of last week and Saturday, and God bless those individuals. It's a tough deal. It truly is. Mo DeFano, we knew was ailing health, and he had passed as well. Randy Zeckman passed, and then Larry Moore. That's right, the great Larry Moore. And so all these individuals, may God bless them and their families. So, moving on. We want to also put out there the Dirt Dictionary, Hunter Stoy. That's right, the Dirt Dictionary. Hunter, he's been doing some graphics for us, continue to do some graphics for us, and we're super happy there. You give that guy a look, and excellent work for sure. Okay, let's get down and dirty. Here we go. So our East Coast Legends Racing recap brought to you by David H. Martin Excavating. That's right, over 50 years in the business, residential, commercial, agricultural, excavation, and utility work. They're the premier title sponsor of the East Coast Legends series. Let me get my sign flipped up here. That's right, the East Coast Legends series by Freeze and Company. And unfortunately, they didn't have any racing this past weekend. They would have been to Linda's on Friday up at Jonestown there off 81 North and PA. And they had to cancel that show, not due to weather, but some other issues I'm not real certain about, but neither here or there. There was no racing for them Friday night. They would have traveled to Lincoln, Pigeon Hills on Saturday. Everybody got a dose of rain for the most part on Saturday, at least around here they did. So it was canceled. That's right, it was canceled. The last two events we seen were Path Valley, and BAPS before that. And we seen Logan Jones was victorious back-to-back. Okay, and next on the docket for them is Clinton County on Friday, and then Winchester, the action track in Winchester, Virginia, on Saturday. So they got a doubleheader again coming up this weekend, Clinton County Friday, Winchester Saturday. And, so you want to keep tabs on them. A lot of neat stuff going on up there at Freeze Motorsports, East Coast Legends, and they just had a little posting there recently of the rental car. You can get up there and drive a Legend. That's right. You can get a hold of Freeze Motorsports and get fixed up and rent the car and go race. And, pretty cool deal. So we'll continue to move on here. Our results by Dan's Auto Repair. That's right, in East Side, downtown Rouserville, just right down the street from us here, doing quality work. Major, minor tune-ups, oil changes, inspections, brakes, the whole 9 yards. You go see Chad, the best in the business. Dan's Auto Repair, ladies and gentlemen, for our results section here. Path Valley, I'll give you the rains. I'll give you the rainouts. Path Valley was rain canceled. Lincoln, rain canceled. Williams Grove, they got some in, I believe, up the heat races. Then it rained. They couldn't continue. Potomac, rain. Winchester, rain. BAPS, unfortunate. Lucas Oil was there with limited late models, and that was going to be a blowout show, but rain. There's no reschedule on that either for this year. So hopefully next year they'll grab another date. So we'll move on here. We'll go to Dog Hollow. Dog Hollow, they got their show in on Friday night. We see Taylor Farling. That's right, Taylor Farling, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Stein was second, and Mike, I believe it's Penorish, yes, he was third. Taylor Farling, that's number one of the year for Taylor, and he's coming back. Had a pretty rough record Bedford weeks ago in the limiteds, and they got things back together, moving forward. They're also running super late models this year as well for some select shows, but he grabbed his first one of the year. The crate late models, we've seen Mike Lockhart, that's right, Tom Snyder second, Joe Zaleski was third, and hey, Avery McMillan. That's right, Avery McMillan was fourth. He rounded out your top four there, and yeah, pretty proud of him. He's in the crate division there, and still is in our junior racing club. And yeah, so he's been throwing her in there and gaining speed each and every week he hits the track. That's what it's all about. Now, we journeyed, Fast Friday night, journeyed to Bedford. That's right, the fabulous Bedford Fairgrounds Speedway on Friday night. And we seen super late model action there. The Benny Ford Memorial paying $4,000. So, man, they had a pretty nice show there. And there's also a lot of heavy hearts there. That's exactly right for Tyler Ritchie. And there's, like I said, there's a lot of heavy hearts there. And there's a lot of supporters for the late, great Benny Ford. And, Benny was connected with the flying school teacher, Jack Pencil. That's right, Jack Pencil back in the day. And at the end of the night, we seen Jeff Ryan. Jeff Ryan, he stepped at number 92 in Victory Lane. The Truth, Greg Satterley was second. Third, Matt Sponigal. Fourth, Matt Cosner. And then Brian Bernheisel rounded out the top five. So there you have it. Ryan, Satterley, Sponigal, Cosner, and Bernheisel. The USAC Wingless was there, and we've seen Wingless Sprints, that is, East Coast USAC Wingless Sprints. We've seen Kenny Miller. Kenny Miller ran the third. Kenny Miller the third. He was victorious. Here's the deal. Briggs Danner, when we talked to him in our pre-race pit walk, Briggs Danner had him covered. That's right. He was lapping the field 3 wide on the high side and getting it done in style. But somebody was supposed to zig and somebody zagged when some lap traffic there. He was on the top side, and they rolled down into one, and there was contact. And the end result was this, is there's a hole about the size of a sprint car in the fence down at Bedford going into turn one. That's where he hit. He didn't go through it. Then he deflected off of it and rolled the car. And he was okay. He was okay. It was on the white flag. The white flag, the last lap. That's exactly right. They took the white and boom, then it happened. But he was okay. That's what's most important. A horrific crash it was. So, yeah, there you have it. Bedford. That was Bedford. Clinton County. We see Clinton County race, Pro Stocks, A.J. Hoffman. We see 305's Jacob Gamola, 4 Cylinders, Matt Weaver. Freddie, we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, we're all good? Good deal. Now, Sealings Grove, Sand Hill, Snyder County. That's right. They were racing as well Friday night. They had limited late models on tap. They had street stocks, and they had 410s. It was a Ray Tilley Classic for the 410s. So limited late models, they had a field, pretty stout field, 25 entries. And at the end of the night, it was Snooky. That's right. Lane Snook was victorious in the limited late models. Ryan Zook, good run for Ryan Zook. We'll start to see more of him as race season picks up. He was second. Third, Dalton Bigler. Fourth, Sean Miller. Make note, Jake Moser, he got a 6th place finish there. He's been running solid. And good to see Matt Murphy. That's Matt Murphy. It's good to see him run a 10th place, get himself a top 10 there. Like I said, it was a stout field of limited late models. At the end of the night, Lane Snook stood P1. Street Stocks, Troy Miller was victorious there. The 410s, the Ray Tilley Classic. Mark Smith, how about it? Good old Mark Smith and the mock chassis. You know it. Chase Dietz second. Austin Bishop was third. That's right. So Mark Smith, he was the P1 man to beat. Lernerville, if we go out western PA, Lernerville opened up Friday night as well. Probably slowed the car count down a little bit at Bedford. About 16 super signed in at Bedford. But, guys, here's the deal. That's a sign of the times, my friends, with super late models in the region. 16 to 20. You may get 23. You may on a regular, well, it wasn't even a regular show at Bedford. I mean, it was a $4,000 show. But Lernerville opened, and we know a lot of those folks are out around that way at race. And it was the A-Train, Alex Ferreira. That's right, the A-Train. And he was victorious. Colton Flinter was second, and Ken Schulterbrand was third. So the A-Train, Alex Ferreira, he won that race at Lernerville. And big blocks they had out there. We've seen Eric Rudolph was victorious. So we'll move on. We'll switch our gears. We'll head to Delaware, the first state, my friends, the Delaware, Georgetown Speedway. Lucas Oil in town tonight for the big event. Crate late models there as well, okay, Rush crates. And super late models, he had 28 signed in, 28 for the night signed in. It was the mailman, Devin Moran. At the end of the night, he stood P1. The mailman, Devin Moran, and here's the deal. He won her last year, too, so he was back-to-back at G-Town. That's right. Hudson O'Neal was second, Max Blair third, Brandon Shepard fourth, and then Josh Rice rounded out your top five. So Moran, O'Neal, Blair, Shepard, and Rice. We flip over to the Rush Crates. The captain, Kyle Hardy. That's right, the captain, Kyle Hardy, was victorious in the crate late models. We did see the likes of David Kaiser. He made the haul up there, made the show, got the laps in. Good for him. That's right, getting some traveling out there with the crate car. All good. It's all good. We switch our gears now. Unfortunately, Saturday was done, right, at Baps. No Lucas, because we're going to be Georgetown, Baps, Hagerstown, right? Well, we got Georgetown. We didn't get Baps. We got Hagerstown. Hagerstown, we were there, and many of you tuned in for the pit walk and the interviews we did. We appreciate that. Man, we got to see a lot of friends and a lot of fans. I tell you, I'm overly blessed. We are, Fast Freddy and I, and it's amazing that people follow us. And I mean it. We truly appreciate that. You have no idea how much it means. Hagerstown Speedway, yeah, it was cloudy. It was cool. There wasn't no rain in sight. And the track, it looked juiced up from the time we got there at 2:30, 2:45, and walked across it. I mean, she was juicy. Geez, it peached. 30 super late models signed in. It was $10,000 to win. It was $10,000 to win. 30 super signed in. Had some local fellas in there, obviously. A fair amount. Okay, non-tour runners. Okay. Fast time, it was Brandon Overton. That's right. In that number 76 Budweiser machine. Beautiful looking race car, mind you. He was your fast timer. And at the end of the night, we seen B-Shep in the Rocket House car, the Rocket #1 house car, Mark Richards Racing Enterprises. I like to put that in there, you know what I mean? Brandon Shepard, he stood in victory lane. Overton was second, and by the way, they started on the front row. It was Shepard and Overton on the front row, but B-Shep got it done. Third was Hudson O'Neal. Okay, good week for him, a second and a third. Devin Moran, the mailman, was fourth. And fifth was Max Blair. Blair had a good weekend as well. So, yeah, it was hammered down. There was no question about that. It was wide open, get it done. Make note, Saturday ran 12th. Cosner, he's local, 13th. And then our very own Justin Weaver, ladies and gentlemen. He piloted the 32J, and he got himself a 14th. He got in the dance. So, yeah, good for them guys. I mean, it's a heck of a field to make. It's a hard field to make. It truly is. Had a lot of heavy hitters there, okay? Ziegler debuted for the first time of the year. He brought his new machine out, new rocket out, and did some racing. But now we go to the crates. There's a lot of controversy around this right now, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're just tuning in, once again, I'm Tommy Cordell. This is The Bottom Line. And we're in Studio O2, brought to you by Chaz's Used Auto Parts. So the crates. Larry Worcester Septic Services put $1,500 up. That's right, 15 smackers up. And for 20-lap feature for them guys, they had, I believe, 31 sign in. They were fast, too. There were some good cars there. They decided, they pill drew. They didn't time. They pill drew. And they just started them all. But but mind you, I believe it was 29 or 30 started. 29 or 30. One of them, I believe, unfortunately, Christopher Hudden could not make the show. He had, some damage and some motor woes and what have you. But they started a heck of a pile of them. The race only went to lap 7. That's it. They had several cautions. I'm not exactly sure on the time that they had allotted. Mind you, they ran this feature. They ran this crate feature before the B main of the Lucas Oil, which I thought was kind of odd, okay? Usually we'd see this feature ran after the super late model feature, meaning the Lucas Oil feature. It'd be ran last on the card for the night. Or it would have been ran, the next step would have been you'd have ran it after the B main for the Lucas Oil. But they ran it first. They had a few cautions. I'm hearing it was under 30 minutes. But they threw the flag. They threw the flag and brought the checkered out lap 7. That's right. So 13 laps didn't get ran. Okay, so lap 7 they brought her out. There's a lot of hurt feelings on it, and it's floating around. So I'm sure they're going to sift it out and hopefully have some rhyme to reason on this. I would hope. But at the end of the night, it was Kyle Hardy, the captain. Kyle Hardy, he was first. Brady Neff was second. Third, Devin Brannon. Jacob Burdett. Good run for Jacob Burdett in the number 4. Good deal. Kyler Upperman, last year's track champion. Strong run for Kyler. Finishes 5th. We want to throw David Kaiser in there. It's 6th. That's right. And, I would be a little bummed too, you know. You come there to run 20 laps, but it is what it is. So hopefully they'll get some explanation on that. I'm not sure. Now, let's move on. We got to get to Ashley Yoder Designs. That's right. Race wraps, decals, sign work, sign services, design, the whole 9 yards. Ashley Yoder Designs. Top shelf work here, ladies and gentlemen. The Who's Hot. That's right. Ashley Yoder Designs. Who's Hot. Super late models. We're going to go with. I'm going to stick with Satterley because I mean this is a local regional pool, so I'm going to stick with the truth. Greg Satterley. He did not go to Georgetown on Friday night. Okay, it surprised me. He rolled in. Not late, but later, and they went in the bottom pit at Bedford, and I was like, oh, man, you know, there's Greg Satterley. He did not he was out hot lap time trials. He didn't time well. The heat wasn't the most robust, but at the end of the night, he was chasing it, buddy, and he was right there with Ryan, but Ryan got the job done, and he ran second. And he, like I said, he's been cranking out the wins the following week before that between Port and Sealings Grove and getting the job done. I'm going to stay with Greg Satterley's super late model of Ashley Yoder Designs, Who's Hot. 410s, I'm going to stay with Chase Dietz. Chase Dietz is right there. He's got an aura around him that keeps him going forward. Now, he ran second to Mark Smith, but nevertheless, wins, seconds, podiums the last several weeks. He's still there. Limited late models, Snooky. I'm going to go with Snooky. Snooky won the makeup feature the other week at Port Royal, and he comes to Sealings Grove with a stout field of cars, 25 stout drivers there. He parks it again. So we'll go with Lane Snook, the limited late models crates. We'll go with the captain, Kyle Hardy, Georgetown and Hagerstown this past weekend, a sweep on the crate late models. So he pocketed himself some money there, and so we'll go with him on the crates. So let's get down to our Amsoil by Aaron Miller. Upcoming, that's right. Amsoil, ladies and gentlemen, quality oil there. Aaron Miller, distributor in Hagerstown, Maryland. You want to reach out to him on the phone number on that sign right there. He'll get you fixed up for sure. Upcoming, there's a good bit going on. We got Path Valley. It's TB's Body Shop night now. But remember, Tim Burkholder, he's a premier sponsor here at Elbows Up Dirt Productions, that's right. And I've been in the business 35-plus years. Does a lot of Path Valley with the Thunder cars, putting a lot of extra coin up there for them guys. So they're running wingless Sportsmans at Path Valley Saturday, 270s, 600s, and strictly stocks and Thunder cars. Switch over, Sealings Grove, Sand Hill, Friday night, super late models, SCDRA Northeast. That's right, our friends from SCD RA Northeast, the Duvals that run that. And don't forget about the big Keystone Clash, $50,000 in August. That's right, down at Pigeon Hills, Lincoln. Woo! 305 Sprints are on the car to Sealings Grove Friday night as well. Now, before I get going any farther, let me remind you guys, start times on a lot of these Saturday shows or tracks are changing. That's right. Path Valley changes, okay? They go to 4 gates, 6 hots. That's right. And a lot of the other tracks are following right now because it switches over. Port Royal, super late models, 410s, 305s. Clinton County, limited late models. That's Friday night. Pro Stocks, 270s. East Coast Legends by Friesen Company in 4 cylinders. PA Micro Midgets, that's right. We had Todd Walls on here, another great sponsor of the show, driving a 500cc. And Hunter Smith was on the show a couple weeks ago, drives a 300cc, but he'll be debuting in a 500cc this weekend, Micro Midget, and McGrew Bid. That's right, Friday night, McGrew Bid. You can watch them. Lincoln, 410s, 358s. They're calling it their World of Outlaw tune-up. So they got a lot of World Outlaw stuff coming their way. Williams Grove, Friday night, 410s, 358 Sprints. Same thing. They got a little World Outlaw tune-up because the World Outlaws are coming to town, my friend, in the sprint cars. BAPS runs Sunday. That's right. BAPS runs Sunday, 410s and Super Sportsmans. Bedford, late model Sportsmans, limited late models, Tamada, whatever you want to call it. 305s, Sprints, semi-lates, and 4 cylinders. Winchester, that's right. Crates are there for $2,000, limited late models, hobby stocks, and East Coast Legends by Friesen Company. They'll be at Winchester. Potomac Speedway, big weekend for them, right? David Williams and them got a heck of a job going on down here. Big weekend down at Budds Creek at Potomac. Crates at the Creek, ladies and gentlemen. American All-Star Crate Series, $3,000 Friday. They're accompanied by street stocks, hobby stocks, U-Cars, pro late models, strictly stocks. Saturday they run. They run Saturday. $5,000 on the line at the Budds Creek Institution, as I like to call it, Potomac Speedway. $5,000 for them crates again. Street stocks, hobby stocks, roadsters, juice box. Got the juice box for the kids. They love that. That's good stuff. Strictly stocks, pro late models. It's going to be a heck of a weekend down at David Williams' pad down at Budds Creek in Potomac. Get down there and support them folks. They're doing a heck of a job. Hagerstown will be dark other than the Bonanzas next weekend. No, there's nothing this weekend. The May 9th is the Bonanza they have. It's a fundraiser, fire company thing. May 16th, Hagerstown's back in business, so they're off a while. The Dog Pound, that's right. Dog Hollow, limited late models, crate late models, pure stocks, pro stocks, and 4 cylinders. So that's what you got coming your way this weekend. Things are starting to blow wide open here as we speak. We're getting into everybody's open. I'm going to say it like that. Everybody's open. Things are getting up to hustle, okay? Weather, for the most part, other than this past weekend, has been pretty cooperative. You know, I don't know if we're going to get all these spring rains like we did last year. Hopefully not. Or at least they don't do it on Friday or Saturday or the whole weekend. And we'll continue to get a lot of racing in. So that's the goal. So let's get down to our Tim Fights Painting. That's exactly right. Tim Fights Painting, ladies and gentlemen. Residential, commercial, power washing, painting, interior, exterior, free estimates. It's Tim Fights Painting. The news. We'll give you some news bits right here. Once again, we said Bedford was we decided to go to Bedford. I'm going to be honest with you. We felt we needed to go to Bedford. We were wanting to go to Georgetown to catch Lucas, but we felt we needed to go to Bedford. You know, there was a lot of, there was a good race there, the Benny Ford Memorial, and there was a lot of heavy hearts for Tyler Ritchie. And, Austin Berry, kudos to him and others, but Austin came up there. He wasn't racing. And, he drives super late model, number 86, and he set up off his merchandise once again. And everything he sold, 100% of his merchandise, they donated, gave to the Ritchie family. So, I mean, God bless. Kudos. Yeah, I talked about Saturday, skipping out on Georgetown. Okay, and Ziegler, he didn't make it to Georgetown either Friday night. Maybe the weather slowed them down. He said, it's going to rain Saturday. We'll just go catch Hagerstown on Sunday. Andrew Yoder, unfortunate, he blew a motor at the White Flag there at Sealings Grove last week. Andrew blew a motor on the White Flag at Sealings Grove. Must have been a thing for White Flags last Friday. There's Briggs Danner. He kapows through the fence practically at Bedford on the White Flag. And Yoder, he pops a motor. These things happen. But you get them done early in the season. Maybe you get the monkey off your back, Clinton County adopts SCDRA rules going forward for their 4-cylinder starting this Friday. That's a big deal. That truly is. That ups the competition. It really does. Let me see here. Here we go. Georgetown, Lucas Oil. I wanted to point out about Georgetown. Trevor Collins, P14 in the show, P14. We've seen Corey Lawler, P18. We've seen Donald Lingo Jr. I mean, we don't see Donald Lingo Jr. running much at all in the 55. He was P20. Danny Snyder got another bullet back in his 4S in the super late model, P21. Eckerd, P23. So, guys were making the field. There was obviously a stout field there. And Collins, he's been on fire in them crates. I think he ran third up there, last weekend there when Lucas was there. He ran third in the crates. And he's got 3 wins, 3 in a row. That's right. Before this weekend, he was 3 for 3 in the crates. So I want to point out Ryan Zook. It's good to see Zookie. Zookie's back in form, and he ran second there to Snook in the weekend. Troutman, there you go. Troutman, Drake, World Outlaws, Rain, I believe they were at Short Track Talladega. He rolled into Georgetown. Unfortunately, did not make the field, but Troutman did make an appearance there to run. And word was, I thought he was coming to Hagerstown, but obviously he wasn't there. So they'll be gearing back up to head out to their own deal going on. So that's what we got for you, ladies and gentlemen, this week. It's getting a little thicker with the news. The more racing the coming, the better the weather, the thicker all this report's getting for you. Remember, go on YouTube. Everything we do, we switch it over to YouTube because they deleted after 30 days of Facebook, and you can find us under Elbows Up Dirt Productions. Subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. The stuff's there for life. You can go look at it all the time. We do have the bottom line next Monday. And we have a show coming up in the House of Dirt next Thursday, and we'll be releasing who that gets to be, sometime here over next weekend in early next week. So we got a lot going on, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I'm Tommy Cordell from Elbows Up Dirt Productions. We're here at Studio 2, brought to you by Chances Used Auto Parts, the bottom line. We appreciate you tuning in. We want you to have a great week. Remember, get out there this week, support your local racetracks, your racers, the whole 9 yards, and what I always say, whatever you do with big energy and elbows up. We'll talk to you then.